Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Jessa Jeremiah, and we have a wonderful show for you today. First, we are going to check in with our news partner, Mark, Madison Area Rehabilitation Centers, and see what's going on in their world. Joining us first, we have Gary and we have Michael, who join us from Mark, and thanks so much for coming on our show. Once again, we're so glad to have you.
Well, thanks for encouraging us to be here. Being a news partner with Channel 57 is a great opportunity for us to work with the community and educating them about people with disabilities and their needs, and then how the community can help support the work that we do with people with developmental disabilities in this community.
Absolutely. Well, we love having you, so we appreciate that, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we not only appreciate what you guys do, but you always come on and bring some wonderful news and information for our viewers at home. So it's just a pleasure. And today I want to talk to you about actually the foundation that Mark has. So there's a nonprofit organization called Mark Foundation of Dane County, and just sort of give us the rundown, the basics of what the foundation does.
Sure. The Mark Foundation of Dane County is the fundraising arm to Madison Area Rehab Centers Incorporated. It's a separate, distinct nonprofit agency with a separate board of directors from the incorporated side. We established that foundation many years ago for several purposes. It gave the community an opportunity to donate lots of different items, or cash, or stock, or real estate, lots of different venues for contributions to Madison Area Rehab Centers. And it allows for a distinction between the fundraising arm and the operations arm, so that more long-term planning and strategic planning can be done at the foundation level. And it helps to fill the gaps of public funding, which has been lowered over the years dramatically. So without the generous help of the community, we would have a much more greater challenge in being able to meet the needs of the clients that we serve.
Absolutely. What an important branch of Mark to be able to help with, I'm sure, the expensive, some of the funding that takes to run the many centers and services that you guys offer. So what a wonderful thing to get to talk to about. And let's talk a little bit about who really sits on, I know there's a board of directors, so talk to us about who sits on the board for the foundation and how that sort of works.
Members of the board consist of people who have children or relatives involved in the program. It consists of businessmen and business leaders, business women in the community, and people who have supported Mark. It is, however, an independent board from the Mark board.
Okay.
Approved by the Mark board, but it is independent.
Okay, very interesting. And what about the actual, the fundraising, and that we raise this money and we're trying to gain awareness for Mark's services. So sort of how does that work? How does a foundation raise that money?
It has a variety of fundraising projects. Its largest fundraising project is what's called the Fall Fund Drive, which is simply a solicitation of individuals, businesses, and organizations that have supported Mark throughout the years. In addition to that, we have the annual Mark Golf Classic, which next year will be June 6th. Which provides money for Mark. There are grant writing opportunities. We have a fall banquet, spring banquet, which is a recognition banquet, recognizing businesses and individuals that have supported Mark, and the money from that goes into the fundraising efforts.
Okay, so lots of great events really help support, and you have been our news partner since the golf tournament. I know you had some great success there, so we look forward to hearing about some of the other events that come up. I'm sure you'll keep us posted. Let's talk a little bit about the donors. So I'm sure that there's donations that can be contributed to the foundation. So talk to us about some of the ways that maybe donors can help.
Sure. There's a myriad of ways in which donors could help Madison Area Rehab Centers and its clients and the staff achieve its goals. Of course, giving money is always welcome, and money can be given in both a restricted purpose or an unrestricted manner. But we accept gifts of stock, we accept gifts of real estate, of estate planning, and people would like to leave something in their will to make our community that much better and help people with developmental disabilities achieve their goals. We are a member of the United Way campaign, so year-round giving can be done, or the time when United Way runs its fall campaigns. And equally important to donations is that people from the community can serve on MARC boards and MARC committees in a volunteer manner and participate with their expertise in that regard. And then I guess finally, we're always looking for donated items for our centers, specifically needed items. And we issue those lists on a regular basis. And when people would like to give, but they'd like to know what we need, they can call the office and we can give them a list of things that they could purchase.
Okay, so lots of ways that they can help, and you guys have a lot of events coming up. Well, maybe we'll put a couple on the screen for you too. And it goes so fast, doesn't it? We're out of time. Can you believe it, guys? Well, you know we'll have you back. Thank you so much for joining us. And you stick around. We'll be right back with more Talk of the Town after the break. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We are joined now by the Girl Scouts. We've got kids going back to school. The troops are forming, so we're excited because we get to talk to these lovely ladies about how much fun it is to be a Girl Scout. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
We've got Sherry and Marcy joining us. So Marcy, let's start with you. Let's talk a little bit about 2014 and what's going on in the world of Girl Scouting this year.
So Girl Scouting is fun. It's a great way for the girls to get involved. And it's even more than that. It's a way for them to explore new things, to meet new people, to try out an adventure that they may not have thought that they could do. We have a lot of fun activities planned, from outdoor experiences like weekend camping to STEM nights to an opportunity for field trips. So they really explore their world in a lot of different ways, in a really supportive and empowering kind of manner.
Wonderful. And we've had you on before. It's just such a pleasure to get a chance to speak with the Girl Scouts because you're doing so many wonderful things. And now we get to talk to Sherry, who I understand you're a troop leader.
I am.
So talk to us a little bit about some of the activities and things that you do with the girls.
My troop leader and I really try to find a balance between our regular troop meetings and then getting out in the community. I think one of the great things about Girl Scouts is that while our girls are doing their Girl Scout journeys and badges, they're also learning that they can be leaders within their community. They can serve their community. They can explore careers led by women. And investigate the outdoors, do overnights and go camping. So I think it's really limitless in terms of the kinds of things that we can do with our girls.
Absolutely, and it sounds like they get a lot out of the experience and the opportunity, and that's very interesting and fulfilling and I'm sure rewarding. So talk to me a little bit from your end as a volunteer and part of the Girl Scouts. What does it feel like for you to be part of it? Sort of why do you get involved?
I think for me, Girl Scouts has been very fulfilling, so much so that while I only have one child, one daughter, I now have two troops because I enjoy it so much. I think that Girl Scouts has given me an opportunity to serve my community by working with the next generation of girls and working with an organization that is dedicated to girls of courage, confidence, and character. And I think that for me, the opportunity to work with girls and serve the community and help them learn how they can volunteer and work in the community and develop their leadership skills.
Wow, what a wonderful way to gain those life skills. And you mentioned your daughter is in one of the troops. So talk to me a little bit about some of the, maybe, from your perspective, how has it impacted her and what kinds of changes have you seen in her since becoming a Girl Scout?
I think for her as an only child especially, it's been very important or fulfilling for her to have the opportunity to work very closely with other girls and kind of have a mini family through the troop and develop that sisterhood while I think getting involved in a way that shows her girls really can do anything. And so I think it's helped develop her confidence and leadership skills as well.
Awesome. What an awesome and rewarding reason to become a Girl Scout. And for a parent, too, to get your child involved in something like that. Let's talk a little bit more with you, Marcy, about some things that we can expect coming up for 2014. And since Sherry was talking about some volunteering things, do you have to be a girl to volunteer? Or, tell us a little bit about both of those things.
We encourage anybody who cares about the growth and success of girls to volunteer. So men and women are encouraged to volunteer. We provide training, so we really know that there are a lot of people who want to grow the future generation of young women and women in this world. So we're very excited that we have both. We have a number of exciting things coming up. In just a few days, our first ever Camp CEO will be held, where we are giving high school girls the opportunity to hear from female leaders. We have a sportscaster that's going to be with the girls. We have the Dean of Student Affairs at UW-Madison. We have a chef that will be preparing a gourmet meal and telling her life story about some personal struggles that she has experienced, as well as a female leader from American Family who is our sponsor. So that's an activity that we're really focused on right now. But we're also excited about the cookie sale, which we've been planning for, and everybody knows about the cookie sale. And what they might not realize is all the qualities and the skills that the girls learn. Most interestingly, I think, is the goal setting, the chance to say, I want to earn my way to camp, or I want to earn my way to this reward, and achieve it, and work really hard in the process, and meet people along the way, and learn to hear no, but also learn to hear yes, and how to market herself and network. And there's lots of different opportunities for girls to also serve their community, as Sherry was talking about, and sometimes they're excited about helping at the Humane Society, or just a myriad of activities. And what's really powerful is that the girls get to choose. They get to say, I want to do this focus, and so they may want to study about underwater sea animals, or they may wish to talk about horses, or they may decide that STEM is their focus, and so they get very involved in how chemistry works in the kitchen. So it's really an opportunity for the girls to experience what they wish to do, and they get to lead it, all supported by incredibly dedicated and supportive volunteers.
Wow. Well, what an interesting topic, and great way for the girls to learn some sort of business skills and responsibility, and just the life skills that they get from being a Girl Scout. Very impressive. So thank you so much, very much, Sherry and Marcy, for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been just a pleasure. Interesting things. Well, stick around. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk to the Alzheimer's and Dementia Alliance of Wisconsin. So we'll learn more about that right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. I am pleased to be sitting here with Joy, who joins us from the Alzheimer's and Dementia Alliance of Wisconsin. So we're actually going to talk about dementia-friendly communities today. And I was just saying before we got started, I'm very interested to learn. I think this is going to be very informative for me personally. So talk to us a little bit about these communities and sort of how that works.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for having me today. We're really excited to be working on creating dementia-friendly communities in Dane County. The concept came to us from a couple up in Fox River Valley in Wisconsin, the McFaddens, and they had been traveling to Europe and discovering different concepts as related to living with dementia. So in Europe and in Australia, these ideas had started with making an environment for people living in the community with dementia, because we know that Alzheimer's disease and dementia is a growing issue, not only in our country but around the world. So we have taken some of their ideas and gone along to hopefully create a community that is more accepting. We're trying to reduce the stigma that's attached to this disease, and trying to help people feel more accepted, and have folks who have a better understanding of how best to serve a person with dementia, communicate, and hopefully to keep them engaged and active in their communities.
This is very interesting stuff. So I imagine part of the important thing here is that we really understand, so that maybe we can empathize with these folks. And talk to us a little bit about maybe what it feels like to have dementia, or how we can gain a better understanding of what that may be for that person.
That's a good question. Something that I do with training, and the folks that I work with, we always try to help folks put themselves in the shoes of a person who's struggling with memory challenges, thinking and processing, and changes in their cognitive function. And the best way is to try to imagine what is it like to have dementia. We've been using something that I came up with, which is an airport analogy. All of us, for the most part, have been in an airport. Imagine going to another country. You maybe don't speak the language. You have traveled, you're tired, you're not thinking as clearly, there's a lot of commotion and activity. It's hard to find out where you need to go next. You don't understand the signs. You don't understand what people are saying to you because it's maybe in a different language. So if you think about that experience, that may be what it feels like for someone with dementia in regular day-to-day life. So going to the library, going to the pharmacy, going to stores may be overwhelming with all of the noise and the stimulation. Signs may be hard to read. Directions may be difficult. And so to think about it in those terms and to understand what it might be like for you will help you better understand how to communicate, how to understand the person struggling.
Wow, what a great description. You know, that really helps to just put some information out there about what that might be like. We talked to you about the dementia-friendly communities. I want to move on to talking about dementia-friendly businesses. What might it take for a business to be dementia-friendly?
We have some criteria that we work with businesses and have an expectation. The biggest part of this is training, and so we, the folks, the businesses who become dementia-friendly, not really certified, but recognized as dementia-friendly, have trained 50% of their staff. They have management that's bought into this and has the training. Then they carry that forward with all of their trainings with future staff. It's not all the ins and outs of Alzheimer's disease and dementia, but it's more recognizing the symptoms, recognizing how best to basically just slow down, how to simplify, how to assist someone in a very respectful, kind, compassionate way. So they've trained, again, 50% have management trained, and also that they've looked at their environment, looked at some of the signage. As folks with dementia and as we age in general, it's more challenging to read signs that have a busy font or maybe that are light on a dark background instead of dark font, dark print on a light background. But even signage, we're working with Walgreens, and they've been a big supporter of this. The Middleton Walgreens was the first in Middleton to be recognized, and they put some arrows down on the floor, some yellow arrows that direct people to the back of the store where the pharmacy is.
Very helpful stuff. Wow. Well, we could talk to you about this all day, I think. There's so much on this topic, but thank you for giving us, you know, sort of a starting point to learn more. And if you want to learn more about the Alliance of Wisconsin, you can go to your website. Enjoy. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be back with Covance after the break. You'll learn more about that up next.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Joining us now, we have Ted, who joins us from Covance. And Covance is a company that deals with nutritional chemistry and food safety, but today we're going to talk to you a little bit about some of the clinical research studies in Madison and volunteering for those. You are, I'm going to cheat a little, but you are the Executive Director of Clinical Pharmacology. So very cool, and I'm excited to learn a little bit more about some of these clinical studies that you do. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you, Jess. I appreciate being here today. Thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you. And I want to talk about these trials that you do. So talk to us a little bit about, you know, why these are important.
Sure. So Covance is a global drug development company. We develop drugs for pharmaceutical companies and biotechnology companies. And part of the process of getting drugs to market is that they're heavily regulated by the FDA and other regulatory bodies around the world. And so part of the activity that needs to happen is we have to test specific elements of the new medications to make sure that they're safe and efficacious for patients to receive.
And if somebody is interested in volunteering for something like this, what is involved? So what can they expect if they go into a volunteer situation on a study like this?
Sure. So there's a couple things. First of all, because it is so regulated, it's very monitored for safety. So throughout the process, they will be working with a great team of doctors, pharmacists, technicians, nurses who will oversee their safety. Part of the process then is to get involved and learn more about how to do a trial. They can go to our website. But ultimately, there's two functions that happen in a clinical trial. First, there's a screening process to make sure that they're appropriate to participate. So we look at their baseline medical condition, check their health, take a blood test, and then if they're selected for a trial, they'll come in and stay with us for a period of time in which we'll conduct some more tests to make sure that everything is safe with the medication.
Okay, well that's interesting stuff. So you need probably somewhat specific candidates for different things, or at least that they possess the qualifications for each particular study.
Right, right.
Okay.
So we're typically running a lot of different types of studies. So we have studies for everybody. So I encourage everybody to go look at our website and see more information about it. But we will go through that process of identifying where an appropriate match is so that we can get them in a trial that meets their needs.
Okay, and what about members of the local community? How can what's the best way for them to get involved then?
So I'd encourage everybody to get involved. As drugs come to market, we need a lot of people to participate in the process. And it's a very personal thing for some people, as they can help move medications forward for interests that are important to them. We just heard about Alzheimer's earlier in the show, and there's lots of other therapeutic areas that need support. So if they come to our website, they can learn more about the opportunities to get involved with that research.
Okay, and give us an idea, maybe some examples of the types of clinical studies that you do here in Madison.
Right, so the research is usually very focused. It's a small group of people where we'll collect samples for them on several days. People can stay in with us for a couple days up to a couple weeks or even longer, and during that process they'll have time to learn or participate and do activities within the study.
Okay, wow, great. And talk to us a little bit, I'm imagining that there's some benefits for the volunteers involved, or it might be tricky for you to get these volunteers. So what is the benefit on their end?
Well, I already mentioned the fact that there is definitely an altruistic aspect if they can help people they know that have a therapeutic area of need. There's also the benefit of compensation that may be available for their participation. They may meet friends while they come in and stay at the clinic, as well as they'll get a break from their day-to-day routine and get some downtime to catch up on things, be on the internet, and spend time relaxing as they visit with us.
Okay, so aside from them helping potentially in a very important cause, future cause, they also are compensated. I didn't know that. So that's always helpful, right?
Always helpful.
And if folks at home want to get more information, how would you recommend they go about doing that?
Well, I mentioned the website testwiththebest.com. I would make that a stop on your research as you're learning more. We give references to independent sites like CenterWatch and others to make sure that people understand what's involved with participating in a clinical trial. And there's actually a really good interactive tour of what our facility is like. And so you can understand step by step all the processes that occur while you're with us and participating in a clinical trial.
Okay, well, we appreciate all the interesting information. This is a topic that I didn't know a lot about, so it's fun to hear about some of the ways that folks can help and get involved, and lots of great things, so thank you very much.
Well, and one thing I would add is that volunteering in a trial is 100% up to the individual. So if they feel apprehensive for any reason and they want to not participate, it's up to them to be a step away from the trial.
Okay, very good information. Well, Ted from Covance, we
Thank you.
enjoyed having you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Appreciate your time.
And thank you for joining us. That's it for us today for Talk of the Town.